When you think about business strategy, it's usually all about competition, right? How do you outperform your rivals? How do you get a bigger slice of the pie? But what if the real goal wasn't to compete at all? What if you could make the competition completely irrelevant? That's the huge idea behind blue ocean strategy, and it completely flips the script on what it means to succeed. So to really get this, let's start with a puzzle. I want you to think about the traditional circus for a minute. For decades, it was a dying industry. Seriously. But somehow, out of all that decline, one company didn't just survive, it became a global powerhouse. So how in the world did Cirque du Soleil pull that off? I mean, look at the difference. On one side, you have the old school circus. Audiences were shrinking, people were getting really concerned about animal welfare, and all the circuses were fighting over the exact same performers. Then there's Cirque du Soleil. It became this massive global brand, charging way more for tickets, and it attracted a whole new crowd of adults and corporate clients. I'm talking about people who would have never in a million years thought about going to a traditional circus. So the answer to this Cirque du Soleil mystery, it all comes down to a really powerful metaphor that changes how we see the business world. It's the difference between what we call red oceans and blue oceans. Okay, so this chart really breaks it down. Red oceans, that's pretty much every market you know. The waters are red and bloody from all the companies fighting over the same customers. It's brutal. But blue oceans, well, those are the brand new, uncontested market spaces that you create yourself. The whole point isn't to beat your rivals, it's to make them totally irrelevant because you're creating and capturing brand new demand. And here's the real game changer. You get to break that old rule that says you have to choose between offering more value or having a lower cost. So how on earth is that even possible? Breaking that value-cost trade-off sounds too good to be true. Well, it's all powered by the engine behind this entire strategy, something called value innovation. And this quote just nails it. Value innovation isn't just about being different, and it's not just about being cheaper. It's about going after both of those things at the exact same time. The goal is to create a massive leap in value for your customers, while at the same time driving your own costs down. What this really means is that you're aligning your entire system, your product, your price, your costs, all of it is working together to create that huge leap in value. The big question completely changes. You stop asking, how do we beat the competition? And you start asking, how can we give our customers a totally new kind of value they've never seen before? Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you put it into practice? Well, that brings us to the actual toolkit. It's called the 4 Actions Framework. And it's basically a set of questions designed to challenge everything your industry thinks is true and help you build a totally new strategy. Let's break down these 4 questions because they're really powerful. First, what things does your industry just take for granted that you can completely get rid of? Second, what can you reduce way, way below the industry standard? Now, these first 2 are the key to dropping your costs. Then you flip it. What should you raise far above the standard? And finally, the most exciting one, what can you create that the industry has literally never offered before? These last 2 are how you create that leap in value for your customers. All right, time to bring this all together. This is where it all clicks into place. We're going to take that framework we just learned and apply it directly to our big mystery from the beginning, the incredible, mind-blowing success of Cirque du Soleil. And here it is. This is the aha moment. Just look at what they did. They eliminated some of the most expensive and controversial parts of the circus, the star performers, the animal shows, even the concessions in the aisles. That slashed their costs. They reduced the amount of slapstick humor and some of the raw, traditional danger. But then, look what they raised. They cranked up the artistic elements, using unique venues and beautiful, sophisticated music and dance. And most important of all, they created things the circus world had never ever seen. A unifying theme for each show, a classy, theater-like environment, and multiple different productions that you could go see over and over again. And that right there is the absolute key. Cirque du Soleil didn't try to build a better circus. They created a whole new form of entertainment, this amazing hybrid of circus thrill and theatrical artistry. They weren't competing with Ringling Brothers anymore. They were playing a completely different game in their own stadium. Now, this isn't just a cool story about a circus, right? This framework is a super powerful way of thinking that you can apply to just about anything. So, let's talk about how you can actually start thinking about finding your own blue ocean. If you want to find your blue ocean, you've got to stop staring at your direct competitors. You have to start looking across boundaries.
Start asking yourself different questions, like what are the alternative industries my customers turn to? What groups of people out there are non-customers right now that we could be serving? The answers to those kinds of questions, that's where the real insights are hiding. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Think about your own company, your job, your industry, whatever it is. What are the rules? The things that everyone just accepts as the way things are done. Which one of those long-held beliefs is actually just waiting to be broken? Because the answer to that question, well, that just might be your blue ocean.